I get it, you're staring at the endless list of pool robots and wondering if you're about to throw another gadget into the shed that will sit unused while you still have to scoop leaves by hand. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling, reading a handful of 5-star claims, then feeling that nagging doubt. What if this one can't handle my 45-foot in-ground pool, or the app crashes every time I try to start it? That hesitation is real, especially when a robotic cleaner is a few $100s and you're hoping it actually saves you time, not adds another layer of hassle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the Dolphin Titan, the first thing that stood out was the promise of a wall-to-waterline cleaning path. In plain language, that means the unit is supposed to travel all the way up the poolside wall and right up to the waterline, a spot where a lot of debris, think tiny leaves, dust, and even that stubborn algae ring, tends to collect. For a homeowner with a medium-sized pool, up to about 50 feet, that has a single surface and a standard filtration system, that coverage claim can actually be a game-changer. It eliminates the need to run a separate brush or manually skim the top edge, which is where most people spend the most effort. The app-controlled side of things feels modern, but it's also the part where reality can diverge from the marketing hype. The Dolphin app lets you start, stop, and schedule cycles from your phone, and you can switch between clean and pickup modes with a tap. In practice, I found the connection to be reliable as long as my home Wi-Fi is on a 2.4 GHz band and the router is within about 30 feet of the pool equipment room. If you've got a sprawling backyard with the router tucked away in the house, you might see occasional dropouts that force you back to the manual start button on the unit itself. For most casual users who set a weekly cleaning schedule, that occasional hiccup isn't a deal breaker, but for anyone who expects a completely hands-free, always online experience, it's a point to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about the filtration system. Dolphin markets an ultra-fine, top-load filter that promises to catch particles as small as 25 microns. In real-world terms, that's small enough to pull in fine sand and most pollen, which can keep the water clearer between chemical treatments. The top-load design means you don't have to flip the robot over to empty it. You just open the lid, dump the debris, and snap it back shut. I tried it after a weekend of heavy leaf fall, and the container filled up quickly, but emptying was a breeze. The downside? The filter cartridge is a disposable component, and while Dolphin doesn't bundle replacement filters in the box, you'll need to budget for replacements every few months if your pool sees a lot of organic debris. That's an ongoing cost that can erode the initial price advantage. One of the more subtle strengths of the Titan is what Dolphin calls the pickup mode. When you need to retrieve the robot for storage, say, before winter or during a pool party, you press a button in the app, and the unit will surface and head straight to the skimmer intake where you can pull it out without waiting in the water. For families with kids, or for anyone who isn't comfortable kneeling at the deep end, that feature reduces the physical effort of handling a heavy 25-pound robot. However, the pickup routine isn't instant. The robot takes a few minutes to navigate to the skimmer, and if your pool has an unusual shape or a lot of obstacles, like a built-in slide, it may take longer or even get stuck. So if you have a complex pool layout, you might still need to manually retrieve it now and then. The overall cleaning performance sits somewhere in the middle of the pack. On a clean pool with mostly fine dust, the Titan does a decent job of maintaining a clear surface for a week or so between chemical treatments. In a pool that regularly collects larger debris, think twigs, pine needles, or even small toys, the robot's cleaning path can miss a few spots, especially in tight corners where the suction jet can't fully engage. That's where the wall-to-waterline claim becomes more of a guideline than a guarantee. The robot does its best, but you may still need to run a quick manual sweep after a storm. If you're weighing whether the Dolphin Titan is worth the money, look at the value beyond the headline specs. The main draw is the combination of Wi-Fi control, top-load filtration, and the wall-to-waterline coverage. For a homeowner who wants a set-and-forget solution, enjoys the convenience of scheduling clean cycles from a phone, and has a fairly standard rectangular pool, the Titan delivers on most of those promises. It also fits nicely into the Dolphin product ecosystem, meaning if you ever upgrade to a larger pool or want a more powerful model, the app interface remains familiar.